Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today, I want to do one final talk about TRICKSTARs until something changes, basically. We have all of the 7 new cards that are revealed for the new Duelist to Brilliance Duels pack in the OCG. We do not know yet in the TCG whether we're going to get this product itself in our form, or if they're going to be imported like the Earth Legendary Duel, or not, Legendary Duelist was, a year plus ago. So, we know the cards. I'm a little bit perplexed, honestly. I don't fully understand the support and how hard they leaned into Fusion, but then didn't give the deck a real payoff for anything. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So, starting off with the cards we do know about, and in chronological order of when they got revealed, we got the first 6 all at once, right? We got TRICKSTAR Hoodie. I think inherently this is a pretty decent card, right? All you have to do is put a TRICKSTAR Link or Fusion on the field. That's very easy for the deck to do. Then this card can summon itself out as an extender. And then when it's used as material for a Link summon of a TRICKSTAR, you get to add one of the TRICKSTAR Fusion cards, the spell that already exists, or the new trap card that got printed here. It's a pretty good card. It's a +1, it's an extender. It can even be a decent normal summon, or just this with any basic TRICKSTAR body can still actually get you somewhere, which is pretty nice, honestly, all things considered. Next up, you move to the Fusion Monster, the one Fusion Monster that was revealed, and that's one of the points of disappointment for me at this point. TRICKSTAR Band Dramatis. 2 TRICKSTAR monsters are its materials. That's pretty standard. Your TRICKSTAR monsters, this card points to gain 1,000 attack, or that point to this card gain 1,000 attack. And if this card's Fusion summoned, you can add a TRICKSTAR card from deck to hand with a different name from the cards on field and engrave. Also, if effect damage is inflicted, you can target a face-up monster on the field, changes attack to 0. That first effect and that third effect, not all that relevant to me. They can come up, I guess specifically the to like push for damage. That's fine. But as far as its main effect, it's that search effect in the middle, for sure. Every single time. You're searching for another TRICKSTAR card, probably an extender, that's going to summon out and get you into the Link 2, which is what we are going to be at in a second. Before that, we get the TRICKSTAR Colchica. This is a Link 1. Takes any non-Link TRICKSTAR, which I like. That's very easy to make. The other Link 1 the deck already had only takes level 2 or lowers. So this one taking any TRICKSTAR is pretty nice. You can only special summon it once per turn, and when a monster is destroyed by battle involving a TRICKSTAR monster while this card's engraved, banish this card to target one of those destroyed monsters and inflict damage to your opponent equal to its attack. That's really, really solid. I actually think this card's really, really good. I think it's not going to look that great because the effect isn't crazy. Link 1s inherently are already insane, especially now that we have a card that just triggers when it's just used as material for a TRICKSTAR Link to go +1. But on top of that, this card making it so once you get your opponent low enough, they literally cannot go battle phase on you, ever, right? That's kind of the position you try to put your opponent in, where if they get low enough, they have to pretty much acknowledge that they cannot go battle phase, because if they kill one, even if they kill one of your monsters, you're going to burn them for game, right? So I really like that. I think that makes the burn aspect of TRICKSTAR even more dangerous and tricky for players to play around. Especially since a lot of times they'll just see a Link 1, you'll be like, oh, it's just a Link climb card, whatever. Put it in grave, and that's the card that does them in. Deals them the final damage. It even allows you to like crash into stuff, even if you're not big enough, just to burn them the final damage. It's really, really strong. And then TRICKSTAR Noble Angel. This is the Link 2. I think this is the cream of the crop of the new cards. I think this is the best card they got from the new support. It's a Link 2 TRICKSTAR monster, points down, left, down, right, classic. Takes any 2 TRICKSTARs, easy. If this card is Link Summon, you can add a blue Tears card from your deck to your hand. There's already a spell. It's kind of like a impermanence. It can target a monster on the field, negate it, and if you do, burn the opponent of that monster's owner for damage. It's fine. And then engrave, that card can also like search you a normal trap if you burn your opponent, but you can't use both effects in the same turn. Second effect on this card is if you have a Fusion monster on field or engrave, any Fusion, which should theoretically be the Dramatis we looked at earlier, you can special summon a TRICKSTAR from grave. Super easy, super simple, just gets you an extra body. And if effect damage is inflicted to you or your opponent, you can target a face-up card on the field and destroy it. So a lot of factors here. It's a +1 on summon. It's a +2 if you used a Fusion to make it. And then also it's a walking pop because TRICKSTAR likes to burn the opponent. So you should theoretically be able to trigger that pretty easily. This card's a really good card. I think this is like a classic, just awesome Link 2 for an archetype that needed an awesome Link 2. I like this card a lot. It's not perfect. The way it interacts with its interruptive effect isn't out of this world. I don't love that it's a trigger effect, so it can be awkward, but beggars can't be choosers. It's already got 2 good effects before that. So Then we get to the Fusion. This is the card I have the most gripe with out of anything. This is TRICKSTAR D-Fusion. It's a trap card. Fusion summon a TRICKSTAR. You get to activate one of the two effects. Can't do both. Fusion summon a TRICKSTAR Fusion from your extra deck by banishing materials from grave. I love that, right? Like the free materials, the way TRICKSTAR plays, it's a link deck. You're going to fill the graveyard up with main deck TRICKSTARs, extra deck TRICKSTARs. That is no problem at all, banishing those. Second effect is immediately after this effect resolves, link summon a TRICKSTAR monster. And then it has a bonus effect where you can banish this card in grave to target a TRICKSTAR you control. Your opponent's monsters cannot target monsters for attack except that monster while it's face up on your field. Nothing insane, right? Like that doesn't really matter too much to me. Here's the problem with this card, and we'll come back to this a little more in depth, but there's no good Fusion. There's no good Link either. I mean, like, listen, I like this Link too, but you're making this Link 2 turn 1. This is on your board when you say pass turn. You have no reason to make another one, really, unless you're trying to dodge effects, and otherwise, there's literally no good TRICKSTAR to make on the opponent's turn from the extra deck that is any sort of threat to them, really. Which takes us to the last card, Maiden of Blue Tears. This card's fine. It's a solid search off of the Link 2 for interruption. If your opponent special summons a monster and you control a Link, which would theoretically just be the Maiden, target one of those special summon monsters, destroy it, and if you do, burn your opponent equal to half of its original attack. So that gives you a burn outlet, which can trigger then your blue Maiden, so you can pop 2 cards here and inflict damage on top of whatever you already inflicted. And then in grave later on, if like your opponent's burned, or if any player is burned, you can banish this to like reset a normal spell from grave. It's fine, right? It's not like an insane effect, but it could come up in a longer drawn out duel, whatever. So those are the 6 first cards revealed, right? You get this weird fusion focus, right? Where you get a monster that searches your 2 fusion cards. You get a Dramatis that you can summon off of the old TRICKSTAR fusion. And then, even if you were to choose to get Maiden of Blue, or not Maiden of Blue Tears, D-Fusion off of a separate effect, which you could, any 2-card combo basically could get you both. Why would you? Basically, is where I end up on this. Why would you ever get that card? Because this card's just really, really doing nothing, basically, is where I end up on it. I just don't understand how half of this TRICKSTAR support for this whole wave is super fusion focused, and then also, like, no payoff for the fusion. The only real benefit to playing the fusion stuff is that she's a decent extender, so I just don't mind playing her in general. And she is a fusion, so by doing your basic lines, you get a fusion engrave so that Noble Angel can also reborn a monster at the end of your combo. To get an extra body out, maybe it's a Candina, which is going to burn your opponent every time they activate a spell or trap to give you more ways to trigger your Noble Angel, stuff like that. That's fine. I think that's okay. But then, like, there's just no payoff here. I just don't really understand it. The final card they revealed at the end was TRICKSTAR Aqua Angel. And I think this card's really good. I love that it helps TRICKSTARs and Marincess at the same time. And it's exactly what decks like those need, right? These are underpowered decks that don't set up super strong boards. So when you have weaker boards, less interruptions, less powerful interruptions, having hand knowledge is so, so good at just like really helping direct somebody who at least knows the format, knows the decks they're playing against, where exactly their weaker end board interactions need to be placed to give them the best chance at keeping the opponent from breaking through. So I like this card a lot in that regard, but it doesn't necessarily fill the hole. I thought there should have been, I thought there was a really good chance the final card was just going to be like a TRICKSTAR boss monster. We have the TRICKSTAR fusion that helps us kind of climb our way with advantage and get stuff set up for the new Link 2 to like get an extra body out. And then we just like don't have a payoff. The payoff is not good enough, right? The payoff from the support is make Noble Angel, search probably the trap, Maiden of Blue Tears, which is a pop, which is fine, and then her, which is a pop later on, and then maybe a little burn damage. Maybe if you opened an extra card, maybe you also ending on Reincarnation, which can be good and disruptive to certain archetypes. But that's still pretty weak, all things considered. I just feel like the one thing I'm sitting here wondering is like, where's the TRICKSTAR fusion boss monster? Even if it was Link, that I guess could be okay, because like you could pop something with the Link 2 and then Quink Link it off with the monster you reborned off of it to make, you know, maybe a Link 3 that on summon like burns and pops a bunch of cards, negates a bunch of cards, whatever. I'd be okay with that, because at least that's something. That's an extra level of layer of interaction, which a deck like this sorely, sorely needs. Now, TRICKSTAR has some interaction now, but it's not the most optimal form of interruption, and 2, it's only 2. It's like 2 pops and that's it. That is not nearly enough for modern day standards. So all in all, I sit here wondering, I don't know. We just saw Sharks get their new support revealed, and then literally the next day, Konami reveals that in Animation Chronicle, one of the old Sharks is getting printed there. Is there a world where there's a Trickstar Fusion boss monster in Animation Chronicle? I don't know. I don't even know if in the anime there was an actual good Fusion boss monster, or if there are any unrevealed Trickstar Fusion cards from the anime that like could get printed. Maybe that's something I need to do more research on. Regardless, that's like the one thing I feel like I'm sitting here waiting on, and I'm going crazy thinking about like, why does this not make any sense unless they have a legit good fusion to summon off of this? Because if they get a boss monster that says like, you know, it could be an Omni Negate, it could be, it doesn't even have to be that good. If it's a walking impermanence that also burns, if it's a whatever, this is so pretty free, right? Because you're going to put the materials in grave. This is just a one card fusion monster. If it's decent, it's just that extra little layer. I don't feel like the deck needs that much more of a push. The deck is already so good in other areas, being able to play a ton of non-engine and being able to get free wins off of stuff like Reincarnation, Droll, Burning for Game, all that stuff. The deck gets free wins. That's those are some of the benefits the deck already has. It does just feel like there's something missing here, and I'm not fully understanding it. This card is still good for them. It's just, it felt like the missing piece was not that. It felt like the missing piece should have just been, you know, one random, you know, fusion boss monster. That's like an actual interaction on the opponent's turn. That's the one thing I'm missing. In modern day Yu-Gi-Oh, like, this deck's never going to be great going second, but you need to be better going first. You need to at least secure more of the wins going first, and right now I feel like Trickstar could struggle to do that, even though I still feel like they're in a better place than they were. I think you could top a regional with this deck. I do, but I think you could get a little better than that and have a little better chance and confidence in yourself if they gave one more piece being an actual fusion boss monster. So there's my little rant on Trickstars and where they land after their full support is revealed. Let me know your thoughts down below, how you feel about this support, what you'd want to see. Like, what do you think Trickstars are missing with where they sit now post these 7 cards? They're obviously playable. They're legit playable. I mean, Bortle has, like, bubbled regionals with this deck in the last 2 years. Shout out to him for even attempting it and actually performing decently well with, like, winning records. I think he even topped 1 or 2 of them. At different points. Like, you think he's not going to be able to top with this new support? This new support takes Trickstars miles ahead of where they were. It's just still a mile behind. So we'll see. We'll see what happens from here. Let me know your thoughts down below on what you want to see from Trickstar, what you think they're missing. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. Thanks for listening to my rant. I'm out of here for today. Stay sub to the channel. Subscribe to the channel if you're not, because I've got more rants, more Yu-Gi-Oh discussions in general on the channel coming. News videos as always. You know, combo tutorials, all that stuff. So stay tuned for that. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.